At 16, I had a mysterious experience. In the morning of Easter, after I made a long, tearful prayer, Jesus Christ appeared to me and gave me many revelations and teachings. He told me much about deep and amazing things. He said that God is grieved because of the suffering humanity. And he asked me to undertake a special role on earth for the sake of God's work. In short, the spiritual world suddenly opened up before me, and I could freely communicate with the saints there. In the quietude of a deep North Korean mountain, I talked with Jesus Christ several times. The truth revealed at that time forms the core of the unification principle. That was the beginning of the revelation. Ever since that special meeting, I have been conversing with the saints of the spiritual world, including the living God and Jesus. Little by little, God taught me the amazing truth. It was as if the morning sun was rising after a long and dark night. In this truth, I could see the dawn of a glorious new culture. This special revelation, based on the New Testament, has the power to bring all the religions together. Today, this revelation is called the divine principle, and I have received an order from God to spread the divine principle to the ends of the earth. The main branches of the divine principle are the principle of creation, human fall and restoration, salvation, and second advent. Now we introduce a one-hour manual which presents just the core contents of the principle, but there are other versions of the manual that organize more detailed contents. Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. People feel joy when their desires are fulfilled. Within the selfsame individual are two opposing desires, the original mind which desires goodness and the evil mind which desires wickedness. Any being possessing such a contradiction within itself is doomed to perish. Christianity sees this state of destruction as a result of the human fall. Considered from the viewpoint of the intellect, the human fall represents humanity's descent into ignorance. People are composed of two aspects, internal and external, or mind and body. In the same way, there are two types of ignorance, internal ignorance and external ignorance. Humanity, through religion, has followed the path of searching for internal truth, and through science has followed the path of seeking external truth. Religion and science have seemed, in the course of their development, to take positions that were contradictory and irreconcilable. However, for mankind to completely overcome the two aspects of ignorance and fully realize the goodness which the original mind desires, at some point in history there must emerge a new truth, which can reconcile religion and science and resolve their problems in an integrated undertaking. The new truth should be able to embrace all historical religions, ideologies, and philosophies and bring them into complete unity among them. The new truth should guide fallen people to return to their original state. God has sent one person to this earth to resolve the fundamental problems of human life and the universe. His name is Reverend Sun Myung Moon. Problems concerning human life and the universe cannot be solved without first understanding the nature of God. One way to fathom God's deity is by observing the universe which He created. Just as we can come to know the character of an artist through his works, so we can understand the nature of God by observing the diverse things of creation, Romans 1:20. Let us begin by pointing out the common elements which are found universally throughout the natural world. 1. Every entity, both within the entity and between it and other entity, possesses dual characteristics of yang and yin. More fundamentally, every entity possesses both an outer form and an inner quality. The visible outer form resembles the invisible inner quality. The inner quality is called internal nature, and the outer form or shape is called external form. The internal nature and external form together constitute dual characteristics. The first cause of all things must also possess the dual characteristics of internal nature and external form, which stand in the position of subject partner to the internal natures and external forms of all beings. We call this first cause God, and his internal nature and external form the original internal nature and original external form. God also exists based on the reciprocal relationship between his dual characteristics of the yang and yin. God is the harmonious union of the original internal nature and original external form, the harmonious union of masculinity yang and femininity yin, the subject partner of internal nature and masculinity towards the universe. God is the invisible subject partner, and the universe as a whole is a substantial object partner to God. In accordance with the principle of creation, God's dual characteristics manifest itself symbolically or in image as individual embodiments of truth which constitute the universe. God, the creator of all things, is the absolute reality, eternal, self-existent, and transcendent of time and space. Universal prime energy is the fundamental energy of God's being. It's the origin of all energies and forces that allow created beings to exist. Through the agency of universal prime energy, the subject and object elements of every entity form a common base and enter into interaction. This interaction, in turn, generates all the forces that the entity needs for existence, multiplication, and action. The interaction generating these forces through this process is called give-and-take action. The process in which out of God, the origin, two entities are separately manifested and reunited in oneness is called the origin-division-union action. As a result of the origin-division-union action, four positions are formed: the origin, God, at the center, the subject partner, and the object partner, and their union. Any one of the four positions may assume the position of subject partner and engage the other three as its object partners, forming a communion of three object partners. When each of the four then acts as a subject partner and enters into give and take with the other three revolving around it, they fulfill the three object purpose. When the origin God, the subject partner, and object partner projected from the origin and their union all engage in harmonious give and take action and fulfill the three object purpose, the four-position foundation is established. The four-position foundation is the fundamental foundation of goodness and the realization of God's eternal purpose of creation. The three blessings, Genesis 1:28, are fulfilled when the whole creation, including human beings, completes the four-position foundation with God as a center. This is the kingdom of heaven, where ultimate goodness is realized and God feels the greatest joy. This is, in fact, the very purpose for which God created the universe. God's first blessing is to perfect our individual character. For this, an individual's mind and body should become one person through give-and-take action, thereby forming a God-centered individual four-position foundation. In fulfilling God's second blessing, an individually perfected man and woman should join in loving oneness as husband and wife and raise children, thereby constructing a God-centered family four-position foundation. God's third blessing is to perfect human dominion over the natural world. For this, human beings and the natural world should become completely one universe, thereby establishing a God-centered four-position foundation of dominion. The biblical period of 6 days for the creation of the universe, for the completion of the universe in Genesis 1, is not to be reckoned by the number of literal sunrises and sunsets. It symbolizes 6 ordered periods of time in the creation process. The fact that it took 6 time periods to complete the creation of the universe implies that some period of time was also necessary to complete the creation of each of the individual entities that make up the universe. All creation reaches perfection by passing through 3 ordered stages of growth: formation stage, growth stage, and completion stage. When created beings are in the growing period, God has regard only for the fruits of their growth, which are based on the principle. In this way, he governs all things indirectly. We call this growing period the realm of God's indirect dominion, or the realm of dominion based on accomplishments through the principle. All things reach perfection after passing through the growing period by virtue of the autonomy and governance given by God's principle. Human beings, however, pass through the growing period and reach perfection by fulfilling their own portion of responsibility, in addition to the guidance provided by the principle. The universe was created after the pattern of a human being, who is in the image of God's dual characteristics. Hence, corresponding to the human mind and body, the universe consists of the incorporeal world and the corporeal world, both of which are real and substantial. The 2 worlds together form the cosmos. When we shed our physical body, we enter the incorporeal world as spirits and live there for eternity.